Just listen to this emotional rant. Have you considered what will happen if Donald Trump wins? Have you thought about the possibility of him using the power of the federal government against you personally? Yes, I've thought about it, but I'm pretty sure he'll target you first. In the 2000s, Donald Trump was a household name, but not in politics. He was a flamboyant businessman, a guy with his name on gilded towers and the host of a reality show. The idea of him leading the country would have sounded like a joke back then. George Clooney, a man who has seen a lot in his career, reflected on this not long ago. He said that at the time, Trump seemed like just another rich guy who loved being in the spotlight. No one seriously thought he would enter politics, let alone the Oval Office. And if they did, few believed he had the brains or knowledge to actually pull it off. So, folks, just imagine this political circus. Today will be someone's last day on the job. And no, it's not a performance review. Getting fired isn't a failure, but rather a dizzying somersault of fate. Try not to take it to heart. Now, how about this twist? Let's look back and try to make sense of one of the most incredible episodes in recent history. How did a man, famous for ruthlessly firing contestants on a TV show and putting his stamp on skyscrapers, manage to triumphantly ascend to the presidential Olympus of the United States? Clooney pondered this very mystery, and frankly, this question still plagues many minds. Trump's rise was not just unexpected, it paved the way into the unknown. He wasn't a politician, he played by his own rules, but he had something that couldn't be ignored, the ability to grab attention, evoking either adoration or fierce hatred. And as it turned out, that was enough. So, what do we have in the end? And in the end, folks, here's what: relinquishing power is extremely difficult. And President Biden has done something truly extraordinary, something out of the ordinary. Folks, just imagine this political circus. The man genuinely believes that this is what deserves close attention, yes, indeed. But, what a risky move. If he hadn't decided to step aside, it could have blown up in his face. Can you imagine one of his main supporters? And what's he getting at? He's getting at the fact that there was a wide swing and, thank goodness, the ball flew out of the stadium because it could have turned out very, very badly. How about this twist? Clooney didn't hesitate to point out how strange it all was to him. Trump's journey from an ordinary guy to the leader of the free world was both incredible and disturbing. It made people rethink what it really takes to hold power in America. But here's the thing, my friends, it's not just about Trump, it's about how much the world has changed and how unpredictable things can be. Today you're a reality TV star, and tomorrow you're sitting in the most powerful office on the planet. The administration is in panic. He, you see, is a Democrat, but... So, folks, let's take a look behind the scenes of the political circus. It's about President Biden, a man our interlocutor knows firsthand. But what do we see? Biden's ratings right now are simply a disaster. Like a bolt from the blue. What happened to the White House and all of America since he took office? Just imagine, says our expert, it's like taking a worn-out child and hoping that everything will be fine right away, as if the first day at school will fix everything. No, folks, serious work is needed here. There's a long process of healing and recovery ahead. How about this twist? Ratings, of course, jump around like unbroken Mustangs, but our analyst is confident they will still take off. Remember, he says, Trump also had his ups and downs. And, by the way, speaking of Trump, this political beast is still lurking somewhere nearby, ready to jump into the arena at any moment. Yes, folks, he will be a headache for the Democrats for a long time to come. That's the breakdown, folks. Folks, just imagine a real political circus is unfolding before us. Before this guy moved into the White House and became president, he was just that jerk everyone knew. An ordinary guy, only concerned with chasing skirts. What's that girl's name? That's all he cared about. And now, how about this twist? A whole army of people sees him as their hero, even though in real life he can't string two words together. But he will play this comedy as long as it benefits him, and let's see where it takes our country. We can only hope that we are smart enough not to give him a second chance. Donald Trump, a well-known master of labeling, during his reign loved to brand celebrities with the term Hollywood elite. George Clooney was no exception. Trump didn't just criticize his acting or political views, no, he tore his personality to shreds, portraying him as a detached from reality celestial who has nothing in common with ordinary Americans. But Clooney is not one to silently swallow insults. The administration is in panic because he gave a worthy rebuff. Folks, just imagine the backstage life of a Hollywood star. Before George Clooney found himself on red carpets and conquered the world with blockbusters, he tasted the most prosaic work. He cleaned movie theaters, pawned men's suits, and even toiled picking tobacco on the family farm in Kentucky. Where's that very silver spoon that Trump so sarcastically hinted at? Clooney tore these insinuations to shreds, emphasizing that he achieved everything himself with his own hard work. But, you know what bothered Clooney the most? Not at all the label of Hollywood elite, but the blatant hypocrisy. Trump, a magnate who made a fortune on hotels and casinos, a reality TV star, suddenly accuses others of being out of touch with reality. How about this twist? Clooney didn't remain silent and pointed out this absurd irony. After all, Trump's own entertainment career was, to put it mildly, not modest. He even managed to accumulate a substantial pension from the Screen Actors Guild for his work on television. George Clooney, as always, doesn't mince words. And here appears a certain Alexis, who in her viral tweet expresses admiration for Clooney's beastly truth. Yes, folks, the political circus continues, and Clooney in it is one of the brightest and most inconvenient players for the administration. Folks, just listen to how George Clooney tore to shreds Trump's accusations of belonging to the Hollywood elite. This answer is simply a political circus at its best. Clooney, with sarcasm in his voice, reminded that he grew up in Kentucky, paved his own way in life, insured people, sold shoes, worked nights in a liquor store. Imagine, he even managed to sew ties from cut-off trousers to at least look decent at interviews. 8 years without health insurance, here it is, the reality of an ordinary guy. And now attention, how about this twist? Clooney asks, how can a person who grew up in such conditions be a Hollywood elite, while Trump, sitting on a golden toilet, is the voice of the people? It's just ridiculous, gentlemen. He adds that most of the elite of Hollywood are ordinary guys from the Midwest who came to build a career. The idea of coastal elites living in a bubble, in his opinion, is absurd. Who lives in a bubble here? Clooney asks. The one who locked himself in a golden tower with a staff of 12 people? He ran a company of 12 employees, while a film director manages a huge team. The administration is in panic, folks. This is what I call a counterattack. Folks, just imagine, the political circus is in full swing. Negotiations with trade unions, each pulling the blanket over themselves, is not an easy task. You need to manage to find a common language with everyone and direct this diverse company into a single channel. And our hero, as Clooney notes, has never encountered anything like this. And here begins the most interesting. Hollywood elite, Hollywood elite. He shouts. How about this twist? Donald Trump, by the way, has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I don't. And here's a quote from George Clooney himself. It's in the details, people, it's in the details. For Clooney, it's not just defending his good name, it's fighting for an important principle. He urges people not to believe empty slogans and to critically evaluate who is labeling and why. The point is that these labels that Trump uses often say more about himself than about those he is targeting. Clooney tore these accusations to shreds, making it clear that he would not allow Trump to dictate what he should be. The administration is probably in panic. After all, Clooney's past is not just. Folks, just imagine this story of struggle. It was living proof that success is not the lot of the chosen ones basking in the luxury of privileges, but the result of an unbending will, steely determination, and accepting yourself as you are. George Clooney, not one to hide his tongue behind his teeth, brought his reflections on Trump and the political arena to the public, appearing on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. And it wasn't just small talk. Clooney came with an important message and used this moment to focus on what he thought should concern Americans. While Trump practiced verbal acrobatics, tearing his opponents to shreds, Clooney cleverly shifted the focus to President Joe Biden. Clooney praised Biden's decision to step aside after his presidency, calling it a rare and truly selfless act. In Clooney's eyes, it was not about the thirst for power or the desire to immortalize his name in history, but about putting the interests of the country above all else. How about this twist? There's a world where we could get back to where we were. I don't think it's as likely as a lot of people think, but I was wrong about the first election, you know. I didn't think people, that's what Clooney said, leaving a bombshell of suspense in this political circus. Folks, just think about it. An actor personally acquainted with Donald Trump shares his thoughts on politics. And what does he say? And he says this, vote for anyone, even if that person is a walking political scandal. Yes, you heard right. Imagine, this very Trump, it turns out back in the distant 90s or maybe in the early 2000s, was a regular in bars and asked our hero which of the waitresses was available. Well, is this the image of the president of a great power? But how about this twist? This very bar character managed to break through to the top of power. And, according to the actor, democracy paid for it in full. The whole world shuddered from such a leader. And although he hopes that the worst is behind us, fears still remain. In his opinion, the political arena needs new, bright faces both in the Democratic camp and among the Republicans. We need those who can offer something really worthwhile. However, not everything is so bad. The actor also noted Biden's humility, praising his leadership qualities. So, folks, a real political circus has erupted. How about this twist? George Clooney, like a hero from a Hollywood blockbuster, called Biden's move phenomenal, contrasting it with Trump's assertive style. But just imagine, it wasn't just a compliment to Biden. Clooney, like an experienced strategist, used the moment to tear to shreds Trump's tactics, who, according to him, constantly distracted attention from really important problems. Instead of discussing Biden's achievements or the challenges facing the country, Trump, like a seasoned showman, was too busy creating political drama and personal attacks. And what do you think? Could Trump miss this? No way. In his inimitable manner, he lashed out at Clooney, calling him a fake actor and advising him to stay away from politics. But Clooney, like a gladiator tempered in political battles, did not remain in debt. With sarcasm worthy of the pen of Oscar Wilde himself, he retorted, "I'll step aside when he does." The audience was delighted. Clooney made it clear that he was not afraid to engage in a fight with Trump, especially when it came to defending his beliefs. "I'm concerned about the division of America. I'm concerned about how we glorify malice," Clooney noted with concern. The administration must be in panic. Folks, just look at what a political mess our dialogue has turned into. I confess, it doesn't just bother me, it makes me shudder. After all, there is a ghost of a chance of returning to the past, to those dark times, although, in my opinion, it is not as great as many think. But as they say, I already got burned once in the election, underestimating the voter. I sincerely did not believe that people would cast their votes for a candidate with such obvious flaws. And here, how about this twist? I remember Donald Trump, whom I know personally. Just imagine, his number is still gathering dust in my phone. Before his triumphant ascent to the political Olympus, he was just a regular guy, a ladies' man. I remember how he used to come up and share his victories. Yes, folks, before the presidency, he was a regular in bars concerned with only one question: which of the waitresses is available? Imagine, it was somewhere in the early 2000s. And now, looking at all this, one can't help but wonder. Folks, just imagine this political circus. This guy, what does he think he's doing? His appearance on the Kimmel Show is not just a clash of political views, it's Clooney's call for a radical change of optics. He literally begged the public to stop drowning in this information noise and finally turn their gaze to actions that have real significance. And for him, my friends, Biden's leadership is the very saving beacon that the country so desperately needs, and not these Trump's buffoonish performances. How about this twist? With Donald Trump's triumphant return to the White House, such ardent critics as George Clooney may have to wade through new thorns. Clooney, this fearless herald of truth, has never hidden his thoughts behind 7 seals and has earned a reputation as a sharp and merciless commentator on political events. His past rants against Trump, in which he questioned his competence and branded his presidency as an era of division, left no stone unturned in his position. However, with Trump's return to power, Clooney risks finding himself under the microscope for his daring statements. Remember this theory, folks, about the bear? It's not necessary to be faster than the bear, it's enough to be faster than the guy it's chasing. So, this guy, it's me. Yes, it's me. So, folks, just imagine this political circus. A certain slow boy claims that Trump is crazy about him. And then, like a bolt from the blue, an old story surfaces. Trump lashed out at the Hollywood celestial, George Clooney, for his political statements. This fake film actor, Trump sarcastically remarked, doesn't seem to understand that cinema is just an illusion. How about this twist? Trump, not mincing words, tore Clooney's acting abilities to shreds, stating that he never came close to making a great film. And then, like a verdict, it sounded, Clooney, like corrupt Joe, went into politics like a rat-smelling rot. What does this Clooney even understand about politics, asks the host of Celebrity Apprentice. Let him return to his TV movies, because big cinema is clearly not his style. He concludes, Trump, like an experienced conductor, repeatedly demonstrates the same trick. As soon as a celebrity expresses criticism towards him, he immediately unleashes the full power of his platform on him, labeling him inappropriate and out of touch with reality. A logical question arises: how will Clooney's past barbs affect their future warm meetings? Clooney, who previously only brushed off Trump's attacks, may now face a more sophisticated and public reaction from the administration. The administration is in panic and, perhaps, Trump will use all his resources to discredit Clooney in the eyes of the public. Just think, folks, what passions are seething in this political backstage. Folks, just imagine what might happen. This potential conflict is capable of adding fuel to the already raging fire of their feud, turning it all into a real media show. But behind the scenes of this political circus lies something more: Clooney's tireless humanitarian work on the world stage. This outstanding man, like a knight without fear and reproach, selflessly fights for the rights of refugees, freedom of speech, and international justice through his foundation. And now imagine, folks, how the Trump administration, with its tough policies on immigration, international aid, and human rights, can tear all his endeavors to shreds in one fell swoop. How about this twist? Clooney will face a difficult choice: either triple his criticism, risking everything, or, gritting his teeth, maneuver to save his projects from imminent destruction. Clooney himself, with his inherent sense of humor, recognizes the danger of open confrontation. In his interviews, he jokingly says that late-night show hosts and other well-known critics may be targeted first, but these words hint at an understanding of the possible consequences. But, folks, knowing his unyielding character, we can say with confidence, he will not back down. The administration is in panic because they are opposed not just by an actor, but by a real symbol of the struggle for justice. Folks, just imagine how the political circus can affect even the glittering world of Hollywood. The entertainment industry, this dream factory, may well feel the domino effect of Trump's political decisions. Changes in tax legislation, censorship battles, or cuts in funding for the arts can change the Hollywood landscape beyond recognition, indirectly affecting such a titan as Clooney. How about this twist? In the event of these scenarios, Clooney's voice, this knight of freedom of speech, may sound even louder, defending creative freedom and the values that Hollywood so fiercely protects. In this fascinating confrontation between Hollywood and politics, George Clooney's fearless denunciations and Donald Trump's fierce responses have created a truly explosive dynamic. From Clooney's humble beginnings to his passionate struggle for global justice, his razor-sharp words towards Trump provoke a deep discussion about leadership and public responsibility. With Trump's return to power, their verbal battles may flare up with renewed vigor, generating debates that go far beyond entertainment or politics. The administration is in panic, folks. Don't forget to share your opinion in the comments. If you like this expose, like and subscribe. New videos are already waiting for you on the screen.